Hello and welcome to Morning Fuel. I am your host, John Bundy, and you are here because you believe in the power of the spoken word and its ability to change lives, and that by sharing our stories, we can help others to overcome challenges that they cannot overcome on their own. Whether it's a victory you need to win in business or in your own personal life, you understand that the answers can be found in listening to others who are willing to share their stories, knowing that their story ultimately doesn't belong to them. All right, today's guest, seeing a lot of obesity and weight-related illness amongst his family and friends growing up, developed a belief that those issues can be completely removed from your daily struggle with proper health practices made simple. His favorite thing about what he does is seeing the reaction on people's faces as they try one of his specialty protein bars that demolishes the hard-set belief that healthy food won't taste good. One of his methods for keeping productive is actively seeking opportunities to share his visions, products, and services, such as showing up on podcast episodes. Advice he offers others aspiring to succeed in their business endeavors is, if an idea pops into your head, write it down. A fully executed subpar idea is going to land you more experience, money, and opportunities than a stagnant, really good idea that has not seen the light of day. Please extend a warm Morning Fuel welcome to the owner of Contraband Fitness LLC Health Made Easy, Joshua Jané. Or how do you pronounce your last name, sir?
It's
got a little
it's got
like
an
accent mark at the end of it.
Yeah,
Is that French?
It is French.
Okay.
So technically, I guess, and I haven't fully taken enough French to get the accent down, but you're going to get as close as you can by saying Jané.
Jané. Okay.
The more Americanized version of that is Jané by saying the J and the J a little more.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Jané's perfectly fine with me. So Joshua Jané, and I'm the CEO and founder of Contraband Fitness.
Very cool. Cool. Well, really great to meet you again, because we've met before, but I've never really got to hear your story. Now I see some of it. A lot of what I see online is humorous. I think it's great, gets people's attention.
Yep.
So it's very, very enjoyable to watch your videos, your Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
And then to see you also have some friends that you collaborate with, and some of that humor, which is great. I love it. And we've had Matt on the show.
Yeah.
Matt Kratos, aka Matt Smith, Matt Kratos.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it.
Sure.
You said family and friends. Did you yourself have any like weight issues when you were younger, or what?
I wasn't necessarily in any of the extremes. Like, you have the extreme obesity growing up, you have the extreme anorexia growing up.
Okay,
You
sure.
have those extremes. I was lucky enough not to necessarily be any of those extremes, but if I were to put myself a little on one of those scales, I was a skinny boy growing up.
Okay.
Kind of with a dad that was in the military and stay-at-home mom. So income wasn't awesome. I mean, we were getting by, so food had to be kind of frugal in that sense. And so I wasn't lavish.
You weren't
eating.
you weren't a sickly thin kid.
Right,
You were just a regular kind of healthy kid.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
very active, and so
Okay.
with the little nutrition I was getting and very active, of course you'd probably see just a slight more of rib than you probably should have in a little kid. But that's where I started. So I was kind of skinny, but I was very active. So I was constantly using energy, so I constantly kept eating food. And luckily enough, I wasn't overweight or anything like that. So I started skinning and kind of built into my figure.
Sure. I was that chunky kid.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like, someone wouldn't look at me and say that I was fat, but I had a little around the middle.
Right.
The thing is, we were active. Like, my friends and I mean, back in the day, kids were in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you go out there, it's crickets,
Yeah.
But, we were always active. But I guess, I would say, looking back on what we ate was kind of the sad, American diet,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, okay. Were you into health and fitness when you were younger? When did that journey start?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely there's like those core factors when growing up, you kind of start to, see when you get older, you can relate it back. Being that active kid, climbing on trees and stuff like that, running around, playing manhunt and whatnot. So I was always kind of like physically doing something. And then that kind of transpired into my young age, going through middle school and high school of football and baseball and all those kind of sports. I realized in the sport world, I wasn't necessarily mentally there. I think there was more passion and drive in the gym, like getting stronger than actually doing the sport. So I did end up weaning off of sports in that high school time frame. And that's kind of when I started really to pick up my love for the gym and physical fitness and health and wellness and stuff.
So
like
you had more fun with the lifting than you did in kind of like a team sport or something like that. So what team sport did you play? Did you say, was it football?
Yeah, football.
Okay.
I played football for rec league, and then I transferred that into high school football. And so right when I was transferring from junior league to senior, I was in that kind of middle zone. I was like, do I want to go and play, this type of experience of playing football for the school? And I just didn't have that passion or drive that I could foresee my future having, like, oh, I'm going to go to college with a football degree, scholarship. And so me not seeing that, knowing that someone else might have that full passion and drive, I want to let them have that story. Like, I don't want to rob someone's story like that.
So I guess part of training for football is lifting weights. So you were finding more enjoyment being in the weight room. When did you kind of make that transition in your mind? It was like, I'd rather be doing the weightlifting. When did that happen? Was that high school?
It was. I think there was a buildup, and then there was a straw that broke the camel's back. The buildup was definitely happening in the very beginning parts of high school, and then I was just. I wasn't like peripherally gifted in the football world, so I wasn't like first string everything. I was kind of like in that second string zone, and then I was useful on the defensive side. But for the most part, I was kind of a little bit of a backup. Which was fine. I was having fun with all the practice and stuff like that, and I was getting my game time in, which was great. But like I said, about halfway through, going through the junior section, going to senior section of football, I learned that I was finding more enjoyment in the gym component, in the workout component, than actually in the game time. And then the straw that broke the camel's back, I was kind of improperly doing some sport mechanics in a way that it was just like, it's the risk of football, like people get injured. And so I experienced something similar to that, and I just hit someone slightly off than I should have. And that caused me to give like just the minor of like, what's the word?
Did you experience an injury that was kind of
like, yeah, it was like it was a slight head injury, kind of like
a concussion or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Like, and it was just for like 1 second, like, I'm getting it from the hit, and I was like, that felt intense. And I'm hitting a really big guy. Right. And so I see like a little bit of purple and stuff like that, and then it kind of fades away. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't go too in depth with this.
Sure.
If I go any further.
The realization of, look,
this is a risky
like football
sport.
Is okay, but I don't want to risk my life or health.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of it. Okay. So did you like immediately go over to like, look, stop football, right to the gym, or was there a time where you just took a break from everything?
I think because of school, there was definitely this kind of up and down experience when it came to being active in the gym and not active in the gym. So that's one thing I do kind of correlate a little higher than the physical world. For me is the mental world. I think everything spawns first from the brain. So if you don't have the passion and drive in something, you need to check, you need to do some meditation, soul searching, stuff like that. And the same thing correlates to being physically active. If you are super sick, if you're feeling super down, it's a catch-22 because you're not going to necessarily be able to put your all into the physical fitness world. Right. But you also need to kind of sometimes go past that sometimes because the physical is the next layer down.
It's interesting because something that's been a study for me, especially since I'm 51. I didn't start really working out until I was 45. I was never into any sports or into lifting or anything like that when I was younger. I just didn't think it was achievable for me. I guess I fell into the crowd that thought it's genetics. Right. The kid that can, get the build is, but I'm not. I look at myself and I'm like, okay, now. So that realization didn't hit me until I started working out like every day at lunch.
A lot can change.
A lot can change. So it was a couple things, right? One is my mind wasn't there. I wasn't thinking I'm going to get gains. So I just started physically doing the activities. Yeah. And when I started seeing gains, that was the realization of, wait a minute, I am quote unquote over the hill after
Right.
40.
Yeah.
You know, you hear all these myths about how you can't gain muscle and all
Right.
that. And I was like, okay, that's wrong. When I realized that was wrong, I was like, oh, what can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm
powerful.
at right now, on and off. But
Yeah.
it's definitely that mind body balance.
Yeah.
Because we understand everything's connected, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it takes you moving, even
Yeah.
when you don't feel like it, even
Yeah.
when your mind isn't there, to get your mind to kind of snap into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, that's
agree.
cool, man.
Yeah.
So then you're working out. You're kind of doing it for
Mhm.
yourself, just thinking, you know, I feel better when I work out. This is
Yeah.
fun for me. When did you come up with? I mean, and how old are you?
I recently had a birthday, February 20th. I turned 30.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
made it to the big 3-0. Yeah. Well, you know,
It's only
that's
up
fantastic.
from here, though. That's the crazy
Absolutely.
thing.
That's the crazy. Yeah. So, you know, when my wife, and I've said this several times, I've probably said it on the show. I just turned 50 once, but and my wife she's 5 months older than I am. So when she turned 50, I told her, I said, it's halftime. I said, we're going to take everything that we learned, all the lessons we learned in the first 50 years
Yep.
of our life, and apply it to the second 50, and we're going to have the best life we've ever had.
I love
it's
that.
starting to happen. So 30, you're still a
Yeah.
young guy.
Yeah.
But so this isn't really too long ago in the scope of things of a lifetime that you made this switch to, okay, when did it become hey, I want to help other people?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, you know, kind of as an adult, you're really kind of backtracking certain core values that come from, you know, growing up. The value behind seeing my family, my friends, they're kind of carrying around this extra weight, a lot of extra weight. It showcases in subtle ways, and you observe that. You know, you can learn a
Right.
lot just by watching. And you see, like, these people are having trouble getting in and out of a car, you know, moving, you know, keeping up with somebody if they're hiking, you know, for 4 miles round trip on a fun vacation,
Right.
you know, and they have to take frequent breaks. I mean, of course, hiking's vigorous, but, like, you know, that idea of just like, all right, you know, 10 minutes from now, you have to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes from now, I have to wait 5 minutes. It, you know, it makes it a long process. And it's difficult, you know, it's hard on the joints and ligaments of carrying all that stuff. And that just didn't look enjoyable. So that kind of slowly, maybe subconsciously imprinted into me, knowing that, coupled with growing up, I've always been like adventurous and discovery forward. So like, I don't mind trying new foods, but I do like my favorites. And the biggest part of also probably being skinny growing up was I always ate till I was content. I never really ate like, ooh, that was super delicious, let me have a second plate. I would eat semi-slow, and that would cause, you know, me to just eat over a longer period, and I would feel
you had maybe, and unbeknownst to you at the time, you had like a healthy eating lifestyle,
right? Yeah.
Whereas some people, you know, emotions are attached to food and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that coupled with, you know, just seeing them, I was like, so there's something around eating somewhat healthier, and living a more active lifestyle, you know, and it doesn't have to be much, you know, just a little, by 5% delta in each of those categories over 1 year will change your life dramatically. You can just
for one way or the other.
for
right?
one,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. If you eat 5% healthier and do 5% more physical activity, and you carry that over a long period of time, those small increments will add up.
Wow. Cool. So did you begin to study? Did you go to school for you know, any of this knowledge, or did you just kind of like YouTube it?
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot still to learn.
Sure.
I'm definitely humble in that fact. There's going to be a lot of knowledge being gained over the next 30 years.
Sure.
And yeah, there's a lot that I learned through kind of my close circles, and I'm constantly improving that, of like the type of news and type of articles and stuff that I'm pulling from my niche. So I'm more interested in learning more people that talk about that stuff. But yeah, like Instagram, YouTube, Google, you know, how do people interact with this? What are the benefits of eating this food? You know, stuff like that.
Right. Did you start just kind of sharing your knowledge with people, and then starting to see people are maybe kind of starting to do what you're sharing with them? Have you had those experiences?
Albeit I do have a lot less than I should have right now, which is something that I'll be building on my 10-year plan, thanks to certain books we're reading. But yes, of the moments that I do have interactions with some people, especially when I go to vendor locations, like recently, I think it was yesterday, I had an amazing conversation with this person that was like, hey, you know, I have a loss of appetite, like I think I need to improve that. And I just asked an additional question, got further down to the idea, and I correlated and found out that just her physical activity was low. And I correlated it with an analogy. And if you guys know me, I love analogies. And I talked to her about, think of like a car. A car can get you from point A to point B, but it requires fuel, right? You got to put fuel in the tank. Now, if you were to drive that car, very small, short distance, throughout the month, do you think you might get through that your tank? Maybe not. But if you have to travel in an insane commute every single day, you're probably gonna have to fill up that tank 2 or 3 times that month. The tank is you, and the fuel is the food you put in your body. So you're gonna be consuming more energy if you're doing more physical activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. So if she amps up her workout,
Then
she's
her-
going to eat more food
correct.
and have
Her-
the gains that
her
she
appetite
wants
will
and all that.
kick back in.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
very cool.
So it's very cool.
Now, so along with, do you ascribe to a certain type of workout style? Is there one in particular you lean to, or do you have, is there, what do you do? Do you have your own
Yeah,
Jané, kind of the Jané method or something like that?
Yeah. So a lot of the things I do correlate to the goals that I have centered around myself, and that's kind of the blend between aesthetics and strength. So in the world of resistance training, where you're lifting weights and stuff like that, you have kind of the arcs going towards bodybuilding, and that is the more full aesthetics. You're gonna see all the veins and all the muscular components of each part of the body. It's more of the art style, if you will. Then on the other side, you have the powerlifting side. This is where you see, like, when you maybe watch the football, Super Bowl, you see those big linemen. Like, those are kind of more like powerlifters. They look like they're carrying around a lot of weight, but it's actually just a small layer of fat that allows them to really couple their muscle that's underneath.
Right.
And they're lifting like 700 pounds. They're the big lifters. So powerlifters are like that.
Right.
And you can have a blend of the two, and that's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of like this power building zone where it's
Power building, I like it.
You got the strength, but you also got the aesthetics, and so
Sure.
that's kind of where I want to look good, and I want the functionality of the muscle as well. So that's kind of where I tailor my programs for. But above all, like I said earlier in mindset, it has to be fun. So the physical activity has to be fun. So like if you are really into CrossFit and that's what you do, like, and you love it, like, by all means, go for that. So find out what you love to do in the physical activity world. It couldn't even be a gym. Like, it could just be calisthenics, which is something else I love. I just love doing these fun body workouts. Calisthenics is like the gym anywhere. You can take it anywhere. You can do it anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I tend to lean toward the body weight, exercises. I fell in love with yoga, and that's been almost one of those daily for the past 5 years.
Nice.
And it's wonderful. I know when I've missed it,
Mm-hmm.
but I really do love what's been happening when it comes to lifting some dumbbells, or I didn't do my first pull up.
Yeah.
I've done chin-ups before.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
Never very, very strong.
Yeah.
But my first pull-up, I remember I was like 47,
Yeah.
45, 47 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I called my dad from the YMCA. I was like, "Hey, Dad, guess what? I did my first pull-up," and he's like, "Okay," I was like, "Oh, anyways, it was. I mean,
Yeah.
But I remember just doing that one led to the desire to be able to do more.
Yep.
Seeing that I could actually achieve that one.
Yeah.
And then being frustrated because I couldn't, and then learning about doing negatives.
Oh,
So getting up
those are
there
so
on the
much
bench,
fun.
stepping off the bench, and then
Yeah.
just kind of holding it and going down
Yeah.
slowly. Then I was able to bust out like 5 at a time and do
Yeah.
like three sets of 5 reps, and it's just like, wow, I didn't. And I'm turning 50. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
crazy stuff. It's amazing. Don't ever listen to anybody that says you can't. Don't even listen to yourself. Say
Right,
that you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
do something physically like that. So
The negatives are very fun. That's how I learned how to do my muscle ups.
Oh,
You know what a muscle up is?
yeah. So you
Yeah.
starting up on the bar like that,
Yep.
and then just kind of working your
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because I look at that and I see some, and I don't know how many of these are deep fakes, but I see these videos, like this one especially, of like, it's like 3 Asian, like they're like 70 years old, and they're doing all those like dance moves where they're kicking the feet out to the side. And I'm like,
Yep.
is that a deep fake? Is that, do they have like an old man's face on this young guy's body? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible.
They're out there.
I think
They're
it is.
60, 7-year-old men and even some women out there that are just still looking muscular.
Yeah, I
still
remember
active.
recently, it was, I don't know, a couple seasons ago, my wife watches America's Got Talent, so by
Mhm.
default, I'm watching America's Got Talent.
Nice.
And there was an 80-year-old woman
Mhm.
on there that was ripped. And I was like, what in the world, man? This is
I'm gonna be that.
amazing. Yeah, well,
Yeah. Not a woman,
not
but
a woman,
you know.
but yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the 80,
Yeah, those
80-year-old guy.
videos and images I see of that
Yeah.
old guy that's 70, you could tell by his, like, from the neck up, he looks like a
Mhm.
70-year-old,
Yeah.
but the body's like, man, what did he just do, a head transplant onto a
That's
30-year-old
crazy.
body or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm going for it, man. But
Yeah.
so along with
Mhm.
the workout, I know that you've learned, what I've learned too, is
Mhm.
like 80 to 90% of that's in the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
It's how we eat.
Yep.
And I still struggle with the carbs. So
Mhm.
I know when I eliminate carbs, I
Mhm.
feel the best,
Mm.
because of my body type.
Right.
But I know some people can eat more and need more.
Yeah.
I want to find the balance where, because I mean, I love me some potatoes. You know,
yep. I'm a
and
potato fiend too.
so sweet potatoes, especially with butter and salt on it, man.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you've dipped into creating health food. I mean,
Yeah.
what would you call it? What are you doing?
Yeah, so Contraband Fitness kind of spawned and that culmination of bringing all those kind of ideas together and really kind of solving my own problem too is that, my time is everywhere because I'm an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. So
We're busy.
Yeah, we're busy. So my mornings are usually kind of like very quick and very limited when it comes to potentially providing like, oh, let me just make a 1-hour delicious breakfast and build from scratch.
Right.
When I get the luxury to do that, I'll always love those breakfasts. But sometimes I have to, compensate in certain areas. And so for the longest time, especially during college, I would have these protein bars for the morning just to get my protein in and just eat something real quick.
Did you make your own, or did you have a particular one that you kind of went for?
I had a particular one I went for
Okay.
from this company, and it was the right size. It was perfect. It wasn't like this, the ones you see out there that are, here's all the 30 ingredients and we're going to blend it
Right.
into a soup and then we're going to slab it out this
Right.
extrusion and make a little brick,
Yeah.
I never
Like a little
liked those.
protein turd that tastes like chocolate.
Right. Yeah. I never liked those.
Yeah.
So the one I had was this kind of really awesome rice base. It was like a rice and oat base. And so it was crunchy, it was airy, had the right amount of chocolate on the bottom.
Right.
So it was held all together. About like 15 grams or so of protein. So I'd have like one or two of them in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and super delicious. I mean, I'm probably their biggest customer because I would order 3
Right.
months worth
Order
at a
by the
time.
case.
Yeah, I'll just get an
Got
Amazon
a forklift
package,
showing
just
up at the front door. Yeah.
crane and just pulling it in.
The drone's not big enough to carry
They
this
were not
box.
big enough. Yeah, I shut Amazon down. They're like, we can't because of Josh. And one time I had to reorder because I was done eating for my 3 months, and I go on, no, can't find it anywhere.
Wow.
I was like, the company doesn't sell it. Amazon doesn't sell it.
What, the particular
China sites
flavor,
weren't
or they
even
were
selling
just...
It was the
I
particular
don't know
bar.
if I'd order a protein bar from a China site, dude. That does not sound good. That sounds dangerous.
AliPro. That's what
Yeah.
it's called. So, yeah, I couldn't
get
find it
that
anywhere.
reference.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was like, wow.
Super
And so
disappointing.
I gave myself one day, and I was like crying, like a little kid. No, I didn't wallow in that, and I was like, whoa, well, how hard could it be to make my own? So I went to the store, looked at the back of like 6 different protein bars. I'm like, wow, some of these have like 4 main ingredients in common, and then from there on, it's just whatever flavor profile you want.
Right.
And so I grabbed those main ingredients, and then I was like, well, I kind of want this because I had that, and I need to complete my protein, so I added this fruit, and then bam, I made my
Was
own
it like the
protein bars.
first time?
It was the first time.
What?
It was delicious. It was so good. I'm like, wow, I'm going to keep doing this. So for an entire year, like I would just make my own batch, cut them up in small pieces about the size I would eat them with,
Right.
and I would just eat it. And it was so good.
And you felt good.
I
After
felt
you ate
great.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it felt more clean too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I can, after really thinking about it, like I could probably taste I don't have them anymore, but side by side. But I could
have that kind of aftertaste to it.
Yeah,
the little like you said, Ali Pro
Yeah.
with a little bit of cadmium.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In it.
Yeah.
Tasty
Yeah.
cadmium. Yeah.
Delicious.
Causes cancer. Anyways, so do you have different flavor profiles now? Do you have different types? And you do?
Yeah.
Get out of town, man.
Let's open up the box that's been sitting here.
I was wondering.
Time. So
what is in the box?
We have a box here, guys. If you can see it on the
yeah,
screen.
it is a brown box.
I got some
kind of scarily just kind of sitting there on.
This is my impromptu. If you order 6, you get this awesome box for free. So that's
really,
it's a great deal.
You fold it yourself. So you're doing protein bars and origami.
I'm a jack of all trades. Or Josh of all trades. I don't even know what to call
Josh
it.
of all
So
trades.
this is the original. This is the. Oops! I almost grabbed the wrong one.
Don't grab the wrong one.
So this is the original. It's called The Good Stuff.
Oh man.
It got its name because after about a year or so of doing it for myself, I brought it to my work, and as I'm sharing nature.
Are you giving this to me? Can I open this right now?
You can open this right now.
Do I need a knife?
You get all 3 of these.
I don't have my knife on me.
You don't need a knife. You can on the corner. I think it's right there.
Oh, I see it.
There's a little perforated spot.
Is
Is
this hermeneutically sealed?
I seal them. I mean, it's fresh ingredients, so they won't
go
bad.
fresh.
But when I seal it,
Dude,
it gives it about a month expiration date. If you keep it in the fridge,
that's super
nice and
fresh.
cold.
I'm
So
not talking anymore. I'm just gonna eat.
no, by all means. So I brought it to work, and then I shared it with some people. And I was working at a place that was entrepreneurial based, kind of like
crunchy.
a co-working space. Texture and taste are like my top 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
So taste is like got to be the number 1 because that's the proponent around the healthy you're eating. So if you are wanting to have delicious food, and this is like the demographic I'm trying to penetrate because it's a huge one and it's crazy. There's a lot of people that kind of live this unhealthier lifestyle because healthy food, healthy tasting food is different from unhealthy tasting food. So a lot of people are going to go the easy route when it comes to food, which is coupled with the unhealthy food. And
I'm sorry, brother. I can't hear you because this tastes so delicious.
No, it's fine.
It's
I'm
almost
talking
one
to
of
the
those
audience.
things. I mean, this is like better than like a good candy bar. So it's kind of tripping me out a little bit. So how can this be healthy if it tastes like I would rather eat this than a Snickers, and I like Snickers.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed a Snicker too, but the Snickers uses milk chocolate and that uses dark chocolate, and dark chocolate is way better for you.
It's better for you.
I'm taking
it's
you down.
Definitely better for you.
Hershey's Company.
Mm-hmm.
Taking you all down,
dude.
So yeah, the freshness of the ingredients.
Cranberries.
Yes.
Almonds.
The cranberries, almonds. So that's the good stuff is the dark chocolate, peanut butter, almonds, and craisins. It is such an amazing, unique taste. And, dude, I have that with milk, and you can choose what milk you want. I'm a mindset person, and I do enjoy regular milk. I do enjoy oat milk.
I am crunching these
Fairlight
almonds
milk.
right into the microphone.
No, that's good. People can hear that. They can hear the texture, which is important. And so yeah, the visual, like everything goes into the aspect. And yeah, so I brought it to the work. I started sharing it. People were like, "This is good. This is some really good stuff." And so that name kept coming along. People kept saying
the good stuff.
And I was like, yeah. So that's what I named it. And you could probably see we have the labels here represented with kind of their icons. So the coconut brick has a coconut. Pecan paradise has a little paradise type of island.
Cool.
The good stuff, it pays homage to the original packaging because I only made that bar, and I wrapped the good stuff in parchment paper and like masking tape, and it looked very sketch, which is why Contraband Fitness came out, and I'm kind of presenting this,
Well, the good stuff is even.
Yeah, and that's why it's so good. It's almost illegal. That's the tagline. So.
Dude, that's amazing.
So I'm having fun with it so far. I love it. Every bar I make is so unique in its flavor. And oddly enough, with the bars, I have a nearly 100% track record. I literally just think of it and build it, and it tastes as I thought of it.
Wow.
So there might be some altercations to the recipes in terms of getting maybe just a little bit more protein, because I might do a higher protein line in the future. So that might, bring back the chalky taste that people don't necessarily like. This is why I wanted to start here first.
There's also something to the fact that it's a little messy. Like
Yeah.
it's a little kind of sticks to your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe I've really ever eaten a protein bar where I'm like licking my fingers afterwards. So that's good too.
Yeah. So depending on which ones you get, it changes on maybe if you're going for diets for certain things, it changes on which bar you might want to grab. Like for example,
I'm going to crunch again real quick.
ooh, that sounds amazing.
All right.
It's making me hungry. So coconut brick is kind of more my vegan option. I use plant protein and I don't use honey in there. I know honey's like a great area for the vegans, but I don't include it in there. And then the pecan paradise and the good stuff, those use whey protein as well as honey. Super good, super delicious.
Wow. I think it even made my voice deeper.
It's the real peanut butter. That's the thing.
Get
It's
the good
real
stuff,
peanut butter.
baby.
It's super delicious.
Mm.
And what's super fun is getting the interactions with a lot of people when they try it for the first time. I go to vending events. I'll have the full size bars there so they can support me, and then I have these samples as well. And they're like, "Ooh, that sounds good. Let me try that." And then they open up the little sample and they eat it, and they're like, "Wow, that to me is a validation, a word of affirmation that I'm penetrating this market that I'm trying to hit. People that think healthy food doesn't taste good and that unhealthy food tastes good. They want the taste and they want the healthy food. So why not put it together?"
That's brilliant. I love it.
Thank you.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Just don't mind me while I back into the corner and lick my fingers.
Great. I'll take a small water break.
Do that. Wow. The good stuff. Love it. Coconut brick, pecan paradise. Can't wait to try them all.
Yeah.
Mm.
So someone didn't want chocolate, so I had to make a peanut butter lover bar.
I got you.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be friends with that person, but I would still eat.
They could be customers. Customers sometimes aren't
absolutely.
friends.
Well,
but the best.
I hang out with people that don't agree with me 100%. But
Yeah.
I tell you what, dark chocolate, that was definitely God invented dark chocolate.
Yeah,
because
yeah, for
dark
sure.
chocolate's really, really good.
It's amazing.
Good for the good for a lot of things too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. So cool. So where to from now? When did you? So do you have a date on when you first produced the? And it was initially just for you.
Yeah.
Like you were just solving a problem.
Yeah.
My beloved protein bar, I can no longer find it on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna make my own.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's good.
Yeah.
And then how long was it when you were like, you know what? I'm gonna wrap this thing up and put a bow on it and sell it.
Yeah. I don't know the exact date when the inception of the bar itself, when I made it for the first time, was, because I had made it for about a year, and then I think I stopped for a couple months, and then I was like, I need to make my protein bars again, so I made it again, and then that second time is when it was a little closer to the time frame where I was at that co-working space, and so I made another batch, and I was like, well, I have a bunch, and I was like, ooh, I have a bunch of friends at co-working, let me go share it with them. Be like, hey, look, I made some protein bars. You want some? Kind of like when people bring brownies or cookies and
Sure.
stuff like that. So I did that, and I brought some there, and they were like, wow, this is really good. And there's like, it's just a follow-up question of like, do you sell these? So I've like instant customers right there and then.
Even those that were eating them that were wrapped in masking tape or asking
Oh,
you?
I mean, before I even wrapped them as like
Okay.
a way to sell, I was bringing them in Tupperware containers, just like brownies, just like, here, grab one. And so,
and you're like, here, I made these myself.
you wanna
Wink, wink.
eat these? That's how the addiction starts.
Yeah.
And so I had enjoyed sharing them with them in after about 5 or so, people kind of giving very similar
Sure.
responses like, this is really good, you need to sell this, like, what are you going to do with it? And it's just-
One thing that I'm noticing immediately after consuming that entire bar, which I probably shouldn't have eaten because I was already full, is there's none of that weird like, okay, this tastes like protein powder aftertaste.
yeah,
It doesn't
Yeah.
have that, that's definitely a plus. So where to from now? From now, what are you doing? What's the plan? What's the master plan?
Satiate a lot of people.
Okay.
Basically, the ultimate goal is to bridge back the world's obesity numbers, by like 10%. Like that's the grand vision. How can I cultivate an environment, a business,
That's
a legacy?
That's a big dream.
Yeah, that is. Like if I can do that, you know how many more people will be able to with their families and
Sure.
yeah, it's crazy. There's
Sure.
so many illnesses and diseases and just deaths that happen because of carrying around that extra weight. Remove that, people are going to be more happier. They're going to do a lot more stuff that's fun. They're going to be with their families for a longer time.
Cool.
So that's the goal. And this is one of the vessels that is part of that goal. So being able to present people an option, an easier option to say, hey, it's a protein bar. I can just grab it and go. I can
Nice.
take it with me. And it's giving them the more whole food aspects while still giving them protein. Gives them and that ability to
Super tasty,
to do
man.
that.
So before I ask my last question, where can folks reach you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me at Contraband Fitness on most of my social medias, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and you can go to my website as well directly at www.contrabandfitness.com. And yeah,
Can you order these on the website yet?
Yes, you can order on the website. I do have different bars up there. Some more seasonal items like the Grinch bar for Christmas.
Okay.
That one's amazing. So if you're interested in a pretzels, pistachios, and matcha flavor, amazing. During
Interesting.
Christmas though. So yeah, you can go to my website. You can order the bars there. And I also have a very great special deal running right now. It is $75 a month for 21 bars. So you get a monthly subscription.
Cool. Okay, last question. What do you need right now as a business owner, as one that is trying to solve a problem in the world? What is it that you need most right now?
I mean, definitely one that's always on my forefront is just more customers. I do want to have more B2B connections. I would like to be connected with some gyms and, some other more mom and pop shops that are able to kind of retail this to help with that fighting of bringing the obesity level down. So if they have shared values like that, I would love to get connected with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Joshua, great to get to know you. Look forward to eating more of your protein bars. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's always awesome to hear about the birth of a dream, even when it was just kind of at the beginning, kind of self-serving. It's like, I'm solving a problem for me. Wait a minute, this can solve a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right.